Hello, my name is Gabriel Silva. I speak some languages. Today, I would like to talk about something that is quite important when it comes to language learning, and it is frustration. That's right, frustration. Because I think that the language learning process, as much as it can be a very enjoyable process, it can be a very enjoyable thing, it can also be extremely frustrating. And since I was little, whenever I couldn't understand something, I would get furious, I would get frustrated. So perhaps, you're trying to understand verb conjugations in a certain language, you're trying to practice them, and they're just not sticking in your head. They're just really, you're not mastering them. And that can be quite frustrating. Or sometimes frustration can happen whenever you've put a ton of effort into language learning. Perhaps you've done several years in high school, or you've taken a couple of courses, and then you try to speak and you just can't seem to be able to communicate with people in your target language. So when that happens, it can be quite frustrating, right? I know some people, I hear this quite often, like, oh, I bought, Rosetta Stone or any like a specific program, but then I just tried it for a bit, got discouraged, and then never touched it again. And of course, it is quite frustrating if you're investing money to learn the language, and then it just doesn't work out for one way or another. Perhaps it's your own fault, perhaps because you just in reality don't have as much time as you thought you would. But in the end, when it comes down to it, it can be quite frustrating if we can't reach the goals or whatever expectations that we have in mind. So I think that to progress in language learning and to achieve our goals, first I think that we always need to calibrate our expectations, right? So sometimes people have expectations that are not very realistic. Sometimes you go into a course thinking, what, by the end of the course I'm going to be fluent. I'm going to be fluent in the language, and that probably won't be the case unless, it takes a while for someone to reach a goal as complex and abstract as just fluency in a language. So I think that it's nicer for us to have really concrete, clear goals, discussed goal setting for language learning in different videos that you can check out if you'd like in my channel. And but yeah, so that's the first thing, having more realistic, concrete goals. And second, sometimes we really need, I think, to embrace the frustration. You're getting stressed, you're a bit frustrated that things aren't going your way when it comes to language learning. I think that you then need to take a quick step back and think, okay, what can I do to make the language learning process more enjoyable? Perhaps you can start learning, or rather reading a novel in your target language, or something that you really have a lot of attraction to. Like, I don't know, like perhaps you really like French poetry and you're learning French, so get really into it. Whatever really attracts you in the language. And if you try to focus a bit more, try to look for things that really interest you, even if they're complex. And of course, it's still going to be a little bit frustrating to try to master all this new vocab and all these new words and trying to understand things that are more complex. It's still going to be more exciting, more fun, and you can probably overcome the stress and the frustration and have a lot of great progress as you learn the new language that you're trying to learn. When we're getting really frustrated, it's nice to reconsider our goals. Of course, be patient with yourself, and also try to take a step back and refocus, especially focus on things that really interest you in the language. That way you're going to keep your passion for the language alive, and you're going to go on and reach great progress. So good luck, my friends, as you learn a new language.